Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your January 2020 general readings. We are looking at the first half of January from the 1st through the 15th, and this reading is for the fire sign of Leo, our lovely lions. So welcome to a brand new year. Welcome to this channel if any of you are new, and welcome back to followers and subscribers. Thanks for all your likes, shares, subscribe, support, feedback, and comments, and I hope everyone had a very good holiday season. So this reading is for Leo for the first half of January 2020. That's Leo Sun, Moon, Rising if your Venus is in Leo, or if you are cross-watching. I still have to focus on saying that. Cross-watching. If you're cross-watching for a Leo as well. But as many of you know, general readings play out a little differently for everyone who watches because there's so many of you watching. So watch your other signs if you know them. Rising, Moon, Venus, Sun sign, etc. And if any of you are interested in reaching out for a personal one-on-one reading, just click on the description link below for more info and contact details. You can always email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. That link is provided below. And I do offer a wide variety of readings in all areas of life, and they also make great gifts for friends, family, loved ones as well. And as we are starting a new year, I do overview readings, which are quite popular too. I do 6 and 12-month overviews, which take a look at what's coming in your life for the next 6 or 12 months, depending on how far ahead you want to look. So it's something to keep in mind as well. And I can usually respond to your initial inquiry with more info within the same day or the first 24 hours. So let's move right into this reading. Leo, the first half of January 2020, a brand new year. And I'm using the Gilded Tarot by artist Ciro Marchetti. Okay, Leo, we begin with the 8 of Swords, followed by the Page of Swords. We have the Sun, followed by the Ace of Swords, and from the bottom of the deck, overall energy for the first half of January is the 9 of Swords, although I think it's more for the first week or so. Timing is always kind of fluid, but I usually try to pull my cards per week. So it looks like the second week, looks like the energy of the second week of January is distinctly different than the first week. So it looks like perhaps you end the year or go into you end 2019 and come into 2020 with stress, anxiety, and fear about something. We have the traditional insomnia card here, the 9 of Swords. Swords is governed by the element of air, so it's about things that go on in our heads. And the tarot, the energy of the suit of swords, is about our perspectives, perceptions, belief systems, ideologies, words, ideas, thoughts, because that affects the way that we communicate. Swords is mental, cerebral, intellectual energy, can also be about learning, higher education, truth, wisdom, insight, etc. So the 9 of Swords, this is somebody who is consumed by often fears about something, typically how it's going to play out in the future or what they're going to do about something in terms of what's going to happen in the future. And it can often be a card of envisioning the worst possible outcome, but it's a card of thinking too much, almost obsessively about something. And it's not that the cause of your fears aren't valid, but the 9 of Swords comes up when there's a lot of stress and worry and fear around something. And it looks like and I have to tell you that everything on the tarot card is symbolic. I mean, you could spend hours just going over any tarot card. You can see that there's a little owl sitting on the windowsill right by this woman. Now, owls are one of those universal symbols of wisdom, answer, solution, insight. Now, it's very close to her, this piece of insight, inspiration, wisdom, illumination, an answer or a solution, or some kind of resource that's going to help her with whatever it is she or he is struggling with. But she can't see it because she's completely consumed with whatever these swords represent, the source of the stress, anxiety, fear, worry, concern, etc. Even though that owl, that's symbolism of insight, truth, a solution, an answer, perhaps a different perspective is right there. She can't see it because she's completely solely focused on whatever the source of your stress and anxiety is. So often as advice, the Nine of Swords can represent, you know, pulling back from the source of your stress just a bit, meaning take some kind of break from it. There may be something, you know, quite close to you in your environment, perhaps with a person around you, that has some kind of answer or help or resource that can help you as well, but that currently you can't see because all you can see is the problem. All you can see is the issue. And it looks like it's something that has you feeling trapped, like you don't know how to remove yourself from this situation. We have the Eight of Swords followed by the Page of Swords. And then we have the Sun and the Ace of Swords. So lots of swords energy. So lots of mental energy, lots of, you know, mental focus and mental energy spent on this. The Eight of Swords is a card about feeling trapped. But it's a card of feeling trapped by your own thoughts and ideas, whatever it is that you're consumed with. We have both the Eight and Nine of Swords here, and I'm sorry to see these because it represents kind of, you know, having something sort of hijack your whole, you know, days and nights and thoughts, just this thing kind of looming over you and feeling like this woman does, very much trapped, that you don't know how to remove yourself from it or feel that you can't because of, you know, fill in the blank. It's going to be different for everyone. This can be a whole variety of thoughts about whatever is going on, or one overriding kind of message that you keep hearing or keep telling yourself. This is a somewhat illusionary card. You're not trapped. Now, that's not to say that getting out of this situation or finding a fix or a solution is going to be easy, but you're not trapped in it. You can see that the swords which surround her are wide enough for her to walk through. She's on her knees, but no one is holding her there, and the chains which are wrapped around her wrists aren't connected to anything or anyone. She could free herself, stand up on her own 2 feet, take the blindfold off, and just either completely leave the situation or find a way to, you know, leave it, resolve it, etc. So it's a card about feeling trapped, but actually, you know, it's the same energy, it's similar energy to the Nine of Swords, in that what is consuming you and making you feel trapped or bound or held hostage or obligated in some way to change to this situation or relationship. There may be certain reality factors associated with it, but there is a way to fix it or remove yourself from it. Now, that Eight of Swords is clarified by the Page of Swords, who also is kind of unsure of themselves as well, because they're just starting out. They're young people or children. They have that youthful student apprenticeship kind of energy. They've studied, they've learned, but they're just at the beginning of kind of putting it into practical application. It can also represent messages and messengers, which I actually feel is coming for you, for some of you, for many of you even, maybe around the second week of January, the middle of January. So this Page of Swords is kind of unsure as to what to do too. He may have some ideas, he may be full of ideas, but he's not really quite sure what to do. And also the Page of Swords, because swords can also be about honor, you know, the higher road, honor, integrity, the higher path. The Page of Swords can sometimes represent being in a moral or ethical dilemma where you're unsure as to what to do, what is the right thing to do here on a moral or ethical level as well, and feeling sort of trapped in that. And I'm sorry to see that. But forewarned is forearmed. That's why we do these readings, to kind of get a bit of a glimpse ahead. So knowing this, and knowing that there is enlightenment, a solution, an answer, and an uplifting of pressure coming almost directly right on the heels of this energy, should, when you watch this video, allow at least most of you, give you the opportunity to kind of, when this energy comes up, to not feed it quite so much, and definitely take kind of breaks from this as well. So next to this we have the Sun and the Ace of Swords. The Sun is a beautiful, powerful card, major arcana card, one of the most powerfully influential cards in the tarot, particularly in its positivity, because when the sun comes out, you know, when the literal sun comes out, it affects everything, it shines everything, it banishes shadows, it illuminates things, it brings answers, insight, clarity, life, love, warmth, laughter. It kind of uplifts things, and it loosens and sometimes even banishes restrictive energies, you know, depression or sadness, becoming much better, if not completely banished. Perhaps financial issues, you know, restrictive financial issues loosening up a bit. And what clarifies it is the Ace of Swords, which, you know, is kind of an answer, solution, an epiphany, a new fresh perspective on something or idea on something. So there is something coming in. I mean, aces represent the number one, so they represent new beginnings, new starts, or the opportunity for that. And the Ace of Swords, because this is air, mental energy, not so much emotional energy, which would be the represented by the element of cups, or wands, which is fire, and earth, which is pentacles. So swords is purely mental. So the Ace of Swords comes in, this sword, and it cuts away or cuts through all the emotions and stress that you've been going through, and illuminates, exposes, clarifies something, presents it in the reality that it is, perhaps an epiphany, an idea about something, which in turn gives you the opportunity to create a more healthy reality. So, and sometimes it can be a very challenging energy, although it looks like you've already been through some challenging energy, because, you know, the Ace of Swords sometimes says, okay, this is exactly what this situation is, so now how do we deal with this? But often the Ace of Swords comes in and it brings a new idea or a new perspective. And I feel like some of you are actually going to be getting a message from someone else as to what this is, because the Ace of Swords is also sitting right next to the Page of Swords, and pages are often messengers, because that's what pages do. They're runners. They deliver messages. In medieval times, that was their role. And it's right next to the Ace of Swords, so there's definitely something coming in. Again, timing is fluid. It's going to be a little different for each of you, for whom I'm reading. But something is definitely coming in around the second week, the middle of the month or so, that brings, there's some new idea, some answer, solution, a perspective. There's a path which opens up which you didn't see before, because you were feeling so trapped and bogged down and completely hijacked by all the stress and worry about how am I going to deal with this, and what do I do if this happens, and what do I do if this doesn't happen. So there's something coming in almost directly on the heels of that tremendously uplifts, if not banishes that energy, and clarifies and illuminates something, and provides an open door where previously you didn't see any, in terms of fixing, resolving the situation, or actually providing a way, a pathway for you to remove yourself from it permanently. Let's clarify a couple of these. Let's clarify this Nine of Swords, Eight of Swords. What is this about? At the very beginning of this year, which probably implies it's something that began before that. The Tower, so there was some big shakeup or ending for you, which has preceded and caused all of this stress, worry, and anxiety. Let's see what the Sun and the Ace of Swords is bringing in, though. It's bringing in another ace, the Ace of Pentacles, so you have two aces. So the Ace of Pentacles, this is tangible, practical energy. It's governed by the element of earth, and it's often about the security and stability in our life. Money, finance, property, real estate, assets, job, projects, etc. The efforts we put into acquiring those things. Pentacles, whether it's about actual money or material possessions, Pentacles represents what makes particularly the physical structure of our life feel stable, secure, whether it's money, finances, material things, long-term stable relationships and marriage, a combination of those. So here is another new beginning, or the opportunity for that. It could be a new project that starts taking off for you that helps alleviate a lot of this. It is sometimes a card that comes up for moving or relocating or starting a new job, or some combination of all of the above as well. So there's a tremendous new opportunity being brought to you. It kind of looks like divine timing and orchestration, like it's being brought to you to open up a way and a door that you previously just thought didn't exist or wasn't there. Let's pull a few last clarifying cards or higher message, particularly about this Ace of Pentacles and this Ace of Swords. whatever this is, whatever this Tower card represented for you, Leo, and the resulting stress and anxiety and worry about it, I don't feel like it's going to last very much longer at all. We have Judgment and the World. Wow, 2 major arcana cards, 2 impactful major arcana cards. So what I was trying to clarify or get a higher message from Spirit about is, what is this new thing that's coming in that's opening up pathways and a door that you didn't think was there before you felt trapped? And now the Sun, Spirit, is bringing in the Ace of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles. So all of a sudden you're seeing a new way, a new start to something. And for some of you, that may be a very practical new start. It could be moving, literally physically moving away from the situation, starting a new job that's financially related, or some combination of the two, or even a job offer coming in. So Judgment and the World is more clarifying cards about this, what Spirit is saying, the higher message from God, Spirit, your angels, and guides. So there is, beg your pardon, so there is an opportunity, which is what Judgment represents. Judgment is an opportunity, in a sense it's an opportunity to answer, but it's an opportunity to do something, say something, sometimes a second chance at doing something that is going to make an impact on your life. Even if you don't think it's going to make a huge impact now, it's actually going to have a ripple effect as your life continues to play forward. It is sometimes called the second chance or reconciliation card, which means that Spirit is bringing in an opportunity in the form of these new beginnings, these aces, which could change the course of your life if you choose to take it. There's an air of finality about Judgment too. It usually represents, particularly if this is, you know, yet an opportunity to make a decision you didn't make before. It may not come around again or come around in the same way. So choose wisely. And whatever this opportunity is, as represented by these 2 aces, I feel like Spirit is bringing to you, so you may want to seriously consider taking advantage of whatever these opportunities are, because it's about the world, which is about the world is about completion of a significant portion or chapter or chapters of your life, and you're now preparing for the next new journey, the next part of your journey, the next new chapter, looking ahead, forging ahead at something. So there's so much mental energy around this. So Leo, I mean, this could be relationship, although we have no cup cards here. In terms of emotional and relationships, you would think, you know, I would expect to see cup cards here, but it could have something to do with a relationship. Perhaps a relationship, you know, ended, or you guys decided to break up and you live together and you're like, well, how's this going to work? But a way is provided for that to be resolved, or for you to move to another place. You know, perhaps if it was a job loss, it's about a new job or a new project of some kind, because it looks like there was some, just to recap really quickly, some major ending, major, you know, shake-up or ending or breaking down of something, and you're really worried about the resulting aftershocks of that. How is this going to work moving forward, and feeling like there's no way out of it. But something comes in almost right on its heels to open up a doorway for a new beginning, a new perspective on it, a new beginning in a very practical, tangible way. I feel like for some of you, this has to do with moving and relocating, like physically moving and relocating. And for some of you, it may or may not have something to do with a new job or a new kind of concrete project as well. But a very, very strong message that Spirit is, it's almost like they're hand delivering and offering this opportunity for you, which may be an opportunity some of you had before but just chose not to take advantage of it. I strongly advise you to take advantage of that now. Kind of a heavy reading, but you know, on one hand, all this new beginning and new opportunity energy, it's the perfect time to do it. We're starting off on a brand new year as well. So Leo, that is your reading for the first half of January. I hope you found it helpful. Perhaps it gave you some feedback or insight, or validated something that's already going on in your life. If this resonated for you and you'd like to take a deeper look at it, or if any of the videos do, if you'd like to reach out for a personal one-on-one reading, just click on the description link below for more info and contact details. Email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you. I do readings full-time, 5 to 6 days a week. It's all that I do. So I'm pretty diligent at working with people's schedules and my own to get readings out to you in as timely a fashion as possible. So if you're interested, shoot me an email and we'll go from there. I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the January 2020 mid-month readings. Until then, as always, I wish you much joy, love, and happiness and a wonderful new start to this new year. Hope to see you back here again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.